I think the Bidens probably thought they were going to make billions of dollars. There are hundreds of data points that Joe Biden was acting in a capitalistic term, I would say the chairman. He's a figurehead. He shows up at meetings, shakes hands, advises, has faith in his team. Effectively, that was Joe Biden's role in the Biden family business ventures and around the world.
And that was Hunter Biden's former business partner, Tony Bobulinski, sitting down with Tucker Carlson for a tell-all interview about the president and his son and their influence peddling. Bobulinski also said that FBI altered history in handling Hunter Biden's laptop right before the 2020 election. This as conservative group America First Legal sues the FBI, alleging the Bureau covered up communications with big tech companies on censoring that Hunter laptop story. Joining me right now is former House Speaker and Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich. He's the author of the book, Defeating Big Government Socialism. Great to see you, Newt. Thanks very much for being here this morning.
Good to see you.
First, a word on this.
It's great to be with you. All of the stories sobering.
It's unbelievable. A word on this Hunter Biden story and the big tech cover-up, the collusion between this administration, the FBI, and big tech. Your thoughts on what we're hearing from Tony Bobulinski?
Well, I mean, everything we've heard about the way the Hunter Biden laptop has been handled, every effort to explain what the various terms like the big guy mean. You have, purely and simply, historians will conclude, the most corrupt president in American history. You have basically a crime family, and you have them dealing with foreign governments. In Ukraine, the mayor of Moscow's widow who sent $3 million, Russian influences, massive Chinese influences. I mean, that's who's in the White House. And I think we have to be honest about it. And the Justice Department has been corrupted by the left and has refused to take seriously crime on the left while grossly exaggerating threats on the right.
But Newt, this could not be more important with regards to the safety and security of America. I mean, Joe Biden has to deal with the Chinese leadership. We know that the CCP already has made its stated goal obvious, that it wants to overtake the United States as the #1 superpower, that it has been stealing intellectual property for decades, that it has human rights abuses throughout. And yet this president has taken in money from Chinese officials tied to the CCP. How is he not compromised?
Well, he is compromised, but remember, so are a number of billionaires, so are a number of the big tech corporations, so is the National Basketball Association. I mean, the fact is, Chinese communist money used intelligently is corrupting America, undermining our capacity to remain independent, and having an effect on our media, on our politicians, and on some of the biggest donors in the country. And I think that this is a huge long-term national security problem.
Do people understand this? Is this going to be a reason to vote Republican? Not to mention the economic issues. The national debt is now more than $31 trillion for the first time in history, Newt. And there is no evidence whatsoever that the Democrats are going to stop the spending. In fact, Mike Turner, the congressman from Ohio, was with me on Sunday, and he said there was a reason that they did a continuing resolution only up until December 16th. The government will run out of money again December 16th, forcing them to do another spending package, which he says will be the wild, wild west of spending for the Democrats, because they're going to jam in everything they can because they know that they're going to lose the gavel.
Well, look, I think that's probably true. The Democratic Party has become a gigantic left-wing machine, sort of a Tammany Hall for the whole country. They need the money to pay off their allies. I mean, if they don't take money from the taxpayers and give it away to special interests, they're not going to survive. So my guess is they'll do all they can. My hope is that Republicans in the Senate will slow everything down enough that we can get to January 3rd. And I think Republicans ought to go back to a balanced budget. We did it 4 straight years when I was Speaker. You can balance the federal budget. You can pay down the national debt. You can get, which, by the way, will be the biggest single thing you can do to end the inflation cycle, and is the kind of thing that would make America economically much healthier for the future.
So what are you expecting from the midterm elections, Newt? I know that you've said in the past you think that the GOP can take the House and the Senate, even with this close call in the Senate. You sticking with that?
Absolutely. I mean, polls have just come in. General Baldock's within 3 points of Senator Hassan, for example, in New Hampshire. Everybody thought that was a 10 or 12-point race. The experts have just said Pennsylvania's a toss-up. They had said it was lean Democrat. The fact is that Fetterman is so pro-criminal that I think he's going to get beaten by Dr. Oz. In Wisconsin, Ron Johnson has done a great job of exposing Mandela Barnes as so totally pro-criminal that he's collapsed in the polls. I think again and again, Blake Masters is pointing out that Senator Kelly voted against 18,000 more Border Patrol, turned around 12 hours later and voted for 87,000 IRS agents. So he doesn't want people to protect Arizona. He wants people to investigate Arizona. This kind of stuff's going everywhere. And of course, in Georgia, Senator Warnock has run such a vicious, dishonest, personally mean campaign that I think it's making people wonder about his credentials as a preacher. And I think it is actually turning into a sympathy vote for Herschel Walker, who's a decent guy who had problems in his past and had a deep commitment to mental health, a deep commitment to his religious belief, and is just being smeared probably more than any other candidate in the country.
So then what can happen then? Let's say the GOP takes the House, takes 1 or 2 seats in the Senate, which, of course, is still a toss-up. But, Newt, what can the Republicans do in the position of power after November?
Well, first of all, I think they're going to gain between 20 and 50 seats in the House, and they're going to gain between 3 and 7 in the Senate. So they'll be in a strong position. I think on January 3rd, they lay out a series of goals that the American people want. They stick to those goals. They slow the process down. They force President Biden to confront again and again that he's not going to get anything unless he agrees to some of these goals. And they just have to be very tough. When we negotiated with Bill Clinton, we got his attention. He decided he had to work with us. And the result was he signed welfare reform, Medicare reform, FDA reform. He signed 4 consecutive balanced budgets. Those things didn't happen because we made nice. They happened because he concluded it was the only way under our Constitution that he could govern.
I mean, I know that this White House will do whatever it wants, so maybe the Republicans can stop bad policy, but the president has an executive order that he can do, right? I mean, in terms of funding, for example, the IRS agents, $80 billion to the IRS to hire 87,000 new agents. Kevin McCarthy said that's going to be one of his priorities to stop that. But how do they stop it? By stopping funding?
Yeah, look, I mean, the Constitution is very clear. If the president doesn't have the money, you could pass a law that said no federal money will be spent on any of these executive orders. And the president can sign them, and they're going to sit there and be basically just trash. You can say, we're converting the 87,000 agents into people who control the border. You know, there are a lot of different things you can do. We proved from 1995 to 99 that a Congress which knows what it's doing, and this is very important, a Congress which is allied with the American people. Every fight we picked, we had a vast majority of Americans on our side. That put pressure on the Democrats. When we passed welfare reform, half the Democrats voted with us. We were actually a very bipartisan Congress because the American people drove the Democratic Party to us.
All right, we'll leave it there. Newt, great insights as always from you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Newt Gingrich joining us.